Welcome back to Vikes with a Mike. As always, your host JC here with my co-host and good friend Tyler. And oh my God, they keep doing this to us
Every week.
every week. And I swear, one of these times, I'm young. I know. There's going to be people that listen to this podcast that, get in the comments or see me afterwards, and they're going to be like, what are you talking about? But I swear, man, I'm going to have a heart attack one of these days. I am not even kidding. Had me running circles in a bar, on Sunday. So it wasn't even something where I could hide away at my house and freak out all I want. Nope, it was out in public, baby. But that's what the Vikings will do for you. So that being said, your Minnesota Vikings get the W, bringing them to 500 going into the bye over the Carolina Panthers. Final score of 34-28 in overtime. Kirk Cousins and KJ Osborne called game on a deep shot. Wow.
Yeah.
What sucks about this game, and we're going to get into everything, is it's another one of those where you just don't know how to feel, right? I mean, you come out of like a game like the Cardinals game, right? Where you have this opportunity to beat them in the final seconds. Arizona is looking like the best team in all of the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Arguably, I would say they are the best team. And we're the closest that's come to beating them, right? And here we're sitting at 500 going into week 7. So just shocking. Carolina, obviously, without, a couple of key players, and you still allow them to crawl back, so to speak. But, there's plenty to get into here.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts. This Vikings team, I'm literally aging watching this team. Like, I think I'm losing 10 years of my life watching this football team. Mike Zimmer, I absolutely hate you for making every single game close. Oh, and the press, he's like, oh, it's just the NFL. Yeah, we get that. But come on, man. You had this team beat. This is the same thing with Detroit. We're just doing it every week, man. It's so frustrating. It's that last drive of the game, just to point out, that, where they go 96 yards. We had them on a 4th and 10. We have them on a 4th and 10.
And a 4th and 6. Two 4th and longs.
Yeah, especially on the last one, though. When they're on their own 4-yard line, 4th and 10, we should have freaking sacked Sam Darnold in the end zone, but instead he throws a strike over the middle to the tight end into double coverage, and the guy snags it at the 50-yard line. I was just so mad after that play, and I just knew it. After that play, I knew they were going to score. I just had a bad feeling. I just knew it. I knew it. That's Vikings football right there.
It was totally one of those things where everybody who was watching the game on Sunday kind of looked at each other, and we were all like, they're going to go down and score.
There's nothing we can do.
Occasional guy who was like, yeah, well, they're going to go down and score, but they're going to stop them on the 2-point conversion.
No.
It's going to be all right. And no, you can't even do that. Anyways, I feel like we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Initial thoughts, like you said, aging, absolutely. Just a team that will send you to the grave way too soon. So let's get into it. I mean, let's break down every single facet of this game for the Minnesota Vikings. And we'll be going into the bye week. So for those of you who are looking for a Dallas preview, just wanted to let you know up front that will not be taking place this week. We will be coming at you for sure with a bye week episode of Vikes with a Mike next week. Date yet to be determined. Content also yet to be determined, but stay tuned. Hopefully have some really cool things in store for next week. But yeah, this week, just covering the Carolina game, and then we'll get into some other games around the NFL, as we always do. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the special teams.
No.
Catching you off guard big time, huh?
Not this.
Special teams was, I think, the most up and down it has been all year, which is saying something because just about every game has been up and down with the special teams unit. in some way, shape, or form. You had some really solid returns, some really solid coverage sometimes. Then you also had horrible penalties on returns. You had a blocked punt for a touchdown. You had missed field goals. You just terrible consistency when it comes to the special teams unit, which sucks too, because I remember it was just last week we were talking about how it finally seems like we have something that we can build off of.
Yeah.
And then
but no, that's Vikings football again for you right there.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts, overall special teams? Go ahead and
I'll start with Amir Abdullah. I love that first return that he had. Was phenomenal. I think it was like a 45-yard return? That was phenomenal. Yeah. But then some of this isn't even just this game though. It's just some of the decisions he makes where he takes the ball out and then he's just taking the ball out for no reason some of the time. Like he should just let it go. We take it up to 25. Like there's just times where he's just overthinking it, in my opinion. Like you're not the Amir Abdullah from Nebraska, or you're just juking everybody out. This is the NFL now, buddy. I mean, stop trying to make the play here, man. Just take it at the 25. That's what this team needs. Don't put ourselves 10 yards short of the 25 every time, because that just gets frustrating and it's annoying with me. And then Greg Joseph, I feel terrible for him, but it's like I've just noticed a specific thing with him. When he's kicking off that right hash, he misses it every time. It's off the right side, off the right hash. He's been missing it every single time, and it happened twice. Both his kicks were on the right side, and it's just
very interesting. We might need you to get in the special teams room.
Maybe. I don't know what's going on though. Like the first one,
over to the left hash, baby. Just
the first one, he absolutely shanked. I mean, that was terrible. The first one. I mean, what was that?
That was horrid.
Yeah, the first one I don't even know where that was going.
And what sucks too is he's shown that he has a leg, right? Like he can
exactly
from solid distance and still be pretty dang accurate too. Like the 55-yarder or whatever the longest one was that he's had thus far this season was right down the middle.
Yep.
Right down the middle. I will say before we go any farther, Zim said something in his post-game press conference about it being just really weird as far as the wind went. So he had no issues whatsoever with the missed kicks. Apparently to him, it was all due to the wind at the time. I still don't know how I feel about that, because there's a lot of NFL kickers that I feel would have made those kicks regardless of wind. But, he's the head coach. He knows a little bit more about it than I do, to be completely honest. So I will give Greg Joseph the benefit of the doubt there for at least a second. But yeah, man, I mean, just basically two situations in which you could put the game away, and just totally pisses down his leg yet again. And I hate to say that too, because the last thing I want is, somebody like him listening and getting even more in his head, because we're gonna need him. You just wish that he could start to build some more confidence instead of being so rocky with his consistency.
I mean, this was something I went back into the training camp. I mean, I just feel like he struggles outdoors in general as well, to be honest with you. I mean, you're going to have to kick outdoors in the playoffs, so this is a problem. Even late in the season when we go to Chicago and Green Bay in week 17 or 15. I think those are the 2 weeks we play Chicago and Green Bay on the road.
Those are going to be windy games, most likely.
Oh, God. It's going to be freezing out.
I mean,
and it's going to be freezing out. But, I mean, we were at training camp, and he was missing kicks outdoors. So that's what I'm saying. Sure. This isn't new. So I'm kind of concerned about later in the season if this team's going to try to be competitive and we're going to need kicks down the stretch to win games. So how we're going right now, we're playing every single game down to the wire close. This team might be in trouble.
Yeah.
We might be in trouble. It's going to come down with Greg Joseph's leg again.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe this is where we start to look into potential trade acquisition coming into the home stretch of the trade deadline here. I'm sure we'll talk about that more in the coming weeks, maybe even next week, with a little bit of a extra buy coverage. But yeah, and I mean, I think we'd also be hard pressed to not talk about the punting unit, especially giving up the blocked punt for
that just can't happen at the NFL level.
If you watch it, it's pretty obvious that somebody, and I believe it's Stephen Weatherly, just completely forgets his blocking assignment or doesn't realize that there's an extra rusher coming and just decides to run down and start coverage. Absolutely horrible decision. I mean, that you're pinned back far enough where they're going to want to bring extra pressure. As far as I'm concerned, that should be basically max protection, except for maybe one or two gunners like normal. Arguably, again, maybe you're sending the one until you know for sure that it's getting off in a clean fashion. But it is what it is. Pretty crazy that the Carolina Panthers score on special teams and don't end up winning the game, because I know that there's some sort of statistic or analytic out there that says if you score on special teams, you're going to win like 96% of the time or something like that.
Wow.
So that's pretty crazy. Yeah. But at the same time, even though it's all for naught, because Carolina ends up driving 96 yards to score the game-tying touchdown and 2-point conversion, Jordan Berry almost redeems himself by pinning this offense at the end of the game at the 3.5-yard line, basically.
Yeah.
Which, with how the defense was playing up until that point, you kind of thought that it was in the bag at that point.
I did.
I know I sure as heck, when the kick, was sent off, that final punt, thought, we got this. I wouldn't even be shocked if we got another pick here for a touchdown or something, was really what I was thinking. Obviously, let alone what happens. They drive down the field. Patrick Peterson gets hurt. He's going to be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You got 2 4th and long conversions there on that drive alone. And yeah, just absolutely destroys a comeback punt by Jordan Berry there, in my opinion. We'll never remember that going forward. So always remember the touchdown, but we'll never remember the effort there at the end. So overall, I think you got to put the special teams unit as kind of trending down or going down.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Jared Barnes on Twitter. He does those stocks at the end of games, and I would say special teams unit is definitely trending down after that game, just due to consistency. You need consistency on special teams.
That block punt. My last thing to say about the special teams, that block punt just can't happen at the NFL level like that. Like, we were absolutely just missing an assignment, and like you said, we were pinned at that point. You got to just get that. You got to just that can't happen. That really can't. And that's definitely unfortunate, but we're gonna throw it in the past, move on from it, and hopefully the special teams unit is trending. His stock is going up now. Hopefully next week. Hopefully they learn from their mistakes. It's bye week, got the bye week, so
take some time to hopefully get out of their own heads and get a little rest. So let's transition. I think the best team here unit to transition to is going to be the defense. We'll leave the offense till the end. I personally was really happy with the defense. There's going to be a lot of coverage out there that tells you the Vikings got lucky on defense a majority of the time, with, whether it be certain drops or recovering from, the few penalties that were called on Carolina's offensive unit. But I am going to take a different route. I really believe, especially when it comes to the amount of drops that receivers were having on the Carolina side of the ball, that was due to the Vikings initially showing that they were going to play really aggressive football. I think that a majority of the drops that you saw were either split-second calculated decisions because the offensive player knew that if he caught the ball, it was going to be a tackle for loss or even a potential fumble. Or it was a straight up business decision of, I do not want to get hurt because this guy's coming in like a torpedo. So I'm still giving a lot of credit to the coverage, even if it doesn't look like it would have been a pass breakup at the moment the ball contacts the wide receiver, whether that be in the body or the hands, to make the catch. I really think that the defense played outstanding. I was really shocked by how amazing the pressure was. I think we made Sam Darnold just flustered as all heck. You can see that literally on the first play.
I think he was seeing ghosts again.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I think you can see that though, literally on the first play from scrimmage with interception.
Right.
He's got nowhere to go.
He was boxed. Football. He had nowhere to go with the football. I mean, he had time in the pocket. Right. Don't get me wrong, but it was completely boxed. There was no one there. Yeah, there was nothing for him to do. And the rookie he's not a rookie anymore, but the young player that he is makes the mistake of not throwing the ball away. Instead, he just tries to throw it to DJ Moore, and it just gets picked off. Or it might have been Robbie Anderson, but Rashad Breeland comes in.
Got it.
Okay, yeah. But Breeland comes in and just snatches it, He should have just thrown the ball away and we take advantage of it.
Breeland had a super impressive game, by the way, on that note.
Best game of the year.
This was a coming out game for him, I think, and that's massive with Patrick Peterson going down. Another guy that I was really impressed by was Cameron Dantzler. He was in coverage for a majority of those pass breakups that you saw that were big time plays that put us into like 3rd and long situations. The only thing that, well, actually, I guess there's really 2 things, but it's kind of tough to cover when you know that the Vikings are missing key players or for sure one key player when it comes to the run defense. I was not very happy with the effort against the run by this defense. But I think that's going to be fixed here when Michael Pierce gets back, which apparently is going to happen soon. I quite honestly wouldn't be shocked if he's back for the Dallas game already.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. Best case scenario.
Just from what I'm hearing, from what I heard from Rick Spielman, they expect him to be back really soon. I know Zimmer also made a comment recently about thinking he's going to be back soon. So with this bye week and then, a full week on top of that for Sunday Night Football, I think we're going to see Michael Pierce back, which will be massive against the run. But then also, Anthony Barr has consistently been a really stout run defender for this team. And he's coming off of not playing for a year and a half. He's still getting used to what it's like to be back in a game. I think he had a fantastic second game this week. I think he played really, really well. I like the pressure. He was going up the middle, blitzing quite a bit. But yet again, when one of your linebackers doesn't really or isn't really comfortable necessarily putting their body on the line every single play, you're going to run into some issues in the run game, pun intended there. So that and the defensive penalties. That's the other thing that I really was not happy with. There were so many holding calls or just, weird personal fouls, unnecessary roughness, whatever it was. I don't necessarily think this was the most fairly called game. I think that Carolina was getting away with an insane amount of holding calls. You were seeing
specifically on Danielle Hunter. Yes. Specifically on that. That's every week, though. That is every week. I mean, that happened in the Cleveland game like crazy, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so they were definitely getting away with some things there. I really wasn't happy with how the refs called this game. And, on this show, I think we really only call refs out when it's pretty warranted. I think we do a good job of not taking a really too homer perspective on the refs. So some of those defensive penalties were not getting called the other way. However, they still need to get cleaned up because if they're close enough to be called, then they're close enough to be called. So clean them up, get them out of there because you cannot have multiple times, 3rd and 15. And I think it was at least 3 times, if not more than that. You get an automatic first down penalty.
Yeah. They just can't happen on 3rd down because they're just drive extenders. And it's just putting our defense.
Anytime, but still, yeah.
Specifically on 3rd down because our defense is supposed to be getting off the field, and then they're just having to stay on the field, and then our guys are getting more tired, and teams can just run the ball down our throat. So, yeah.
Pressure was so good, too, that, those should be the times where you're teeing off and you're getting the quarterback early. You're getting those coverage sacks. Like, all you have to do is stay in your zone or stay on your man at that point.
Yeah.
Your line's going to tee off and probably get the dub on those plays. So, those are my majority thoughts on the defense. What else do you have to add?
I thought Xavier Woods had a pretty good game. That forced fumble was phenomenal that he had. I loved that play. That was great.
Cameron Dantzler was in on that play too. Just saying.
Cameron Dantzler, yeah.
He's gonna be seeing a lot more snaps.
That James Lynch sack was freaking awesome too, where he just was inside and he just he goes off that guy and it comes middle. Nobody's on him. He just drills Darnold into the turf. That was a phenomenal play.
I don't know if you can see it, but in my notes here I have James Lynch baby in all caps. So yeah, very, very happy with the sack for James Lynch. I'd love to see him get in on a few more, either big package plays on the goal line or some of those passing down situations. I think he's really good at getting pressure right up the middle there. I think he's agile enough.
It's kind of sneaky. I also thought Armand Watts was pretty good on the interior as well. I thought he looked pretty dang good. I think it was one of his best starts in his NFL career when he's gotten the chance to play in an actual regular season game, in my opinion.
Armand Watts has looked really good a majority of this season.
He looked really good in the preseason, in my opinion. Yeah, preseason he looked phenomenal when he got the chance.
Yeah,
I think his pass rushing has gotten a lot better.
Yes, absolutely, and it's been nice because I haven't seen nearly as much out of Sheldon Richardson as I was expecting, especially with Michael Pierce out. So for Armand Watts to kind of pick up a little bit of the slack there, Sheldon's more of a guy who's going to rush the passer. He's not necessarily going to be the guy that stops the run very well. Right. We've kind of known this about him for a few years now, even back with his first stint in Minnesota. So not a huge shocker there, but like you said, just really great to see Armand Watts being the player that he is pretty consistently.
Yeah.
I suppose, really there isn't much else on the defensive side of the ball. I think consistently week in and week out, like we've kind of already stated, Danielle Hunter is making a statement, and he is going to be worth every single penny that we hopefully give to him, and whatever that extension, whatever the form of that extension is or takes place in. So very excited about that. He's still an absolute monster. Everson Griffin looks 5 years younger than what he actually is. And I think that's just because he's playing with a, nastiness and a mentality of this is it, like this is his chance. And I just think you can see that in he just practically every play that he's on.
I think it's also a scheme fit. He just fits so well.
Yeah.
And bringing him in on pass rushing downs more specifically. I think in Detroit and Dallas, it just wasn't a general fit with their schemes compared to what we have here. It's just he was comfortable here. Should have never left. He even said that. He said he made a mistake. And, I think it's just him being comfortable here. The fans love him. Everyone loves him when he's out there and producing for this football team. And, he's continuing to do that.
Yeah. Could not agree more with you there. But, yeah, other than that, just really, really excited with how this defensive unit seems to be clicking. Obviously, you look at the final score, and a person listening to this is going to be like, JC, they gave up so many points. But you got to take away 7, basically, because of the punt return for a touchdown.
Also, I would say another one. Our defense got put on the 20-yard line because of the JJ fumble.
I was just going to say another 7 because of the Justin Jefferson fumble where they were way caught off guard. So you really are looking at about 14 points given up. And even those points are pretty, they need to be contextualized for sure. So I was very happy with what this defense did a majority of the time that they were on the field. The only time that they really seemed to fall apart was that last drive.
Yep. Yeah, just basically 2 field goals they gave up, which is perfectly normal, and then the touchdown with the 2-point conversion. So that added up to the 14. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that is it for me on the defense side of the ball. Any final thoughts for them, Brian?
Overall, this defense is trending in the right direction, in my opinion. Hopefully they can keep the momentum because this Dallas offense is very high-powered.
Yeah, it is. They came in here last year and they beat us. Hopefully having the fans back in the People's Stadium. I think, well, again, don't want to get too much into it. We got a whole breakdown of that coming next week, but I'll say that I like our odds. That's about it.
All right.
So let's move on to the unit that everybody's talking about. Everybody loves to see. Offense. I was so pissed off at first with this offense. Now, let me explain. You get an interception on the first play of the game, and you come out with a poorly blocked run to the right that loses 3 yards.
Oh, they ran that play twice. They ran that on the next first down. They ran that same exact play on the next first down. Yep. Like, what was that play calling? That's just predictable.
The following play after that was a poorly executed wide receiver screen. And that is peak conservative Vikings offense. Even when you get an interception that deep in the opposing team's territory, how do you not go straight for the jugular and just throw downfield while the defense is caught off guard? I do not get that at all.
I mean, this defense is already sitting on their heels being like, oh, my God, we're on the field right now because our offense just made a terrible play and turned the ball over. Oh, my God, we're playing the Vikings. They have 2 freaking stud receivers and one of the best running backs in football. What are we doing? We're screwed right here. And no, we run a freaking stretch to the right that goes nowhere, and then we run a screen. Like, it's just predictable because we run those plays all the time. Teams watch that on tape and see it.
You don't take a shot at either of your big-name wide receivers that entire drive, basically, at least for the end zone. The only one that hits is a 3rd down play to Adam Thielen where they literally prove to themselves that they could throw downfield and get yardage, turns it into a 1st down, and then, like you said, they go right back to that same freaking run play.
The same play. Not a bootleg, nothing. No, just the same play on the next 1st down. Just great.
This is a hint, obviously, if you haven't watched this game, but KJ Osborne might just be the best wide receiver 3 in the NFL right now. He is looking amazing. I mean, if he continues to play the way that he has been playing, we're no contest going to be the owners of the best wide receiver corps in the NFL. No contest.
Right.
Just absolutely stunned by how amazing KJ is. And we'll get into, obviously, the biggest play that he makes in this game. Now, the first touchdown attempt was thrown to Tyler Conklin, and it was dropped in the end zone. If Kirk decided to throw that ball to JJ or Adam Thielen and you watch the tape, he would have had a touchdown. Both of them were open enough that they make those plays. So that was really hard to watch. Overall, I think the scoring in this team for the Minnesota Vikings is absolutely hilarious because Chris Herndon getting a touchdown in this game.
That was,
If that doesn't shut up all of the just armchair GMs on Twitter, then I really don't know what will. I mean, the fact that everybody was calling that trade a bust in like week 3 when he had been there for maybe a month and a half at that point. All I'm going to say is I don't expect that to be Chris Herndon's last touchdown with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have another 2 or 3 in that opinion. And I think that's well worth what we ended up giving up for him. Now, the Vikings have a bit of a ball security issue, it seems, on offense. Now, they only lost, I think, the 1 fumble, but I'm pretty sure in total they had like 3.
They did.
From
Dalvin
JJ,
had one. Dalvin had one.
Dalvin, and then
did Kirk have one?
Kirky had one, yeah. I think he had one too, which killed the drive completely. So obviously the one by Dalvin and the one by Kirk were recovered by the offense. JJ's was recovered at, what was it? It was like
the 20-yard line.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that obviously turned into 7 points. So, you know, contextually speaking, yeah, some of it's tough because JJ, when he fumbled the ball the play before, had missed on a deep shot, which I quite honestly think there was defensive pass interference on that play that wasn't called. He was trying to make up for that in my mind, watching the play. So he's driving for a few extra yards, ends up getting the ball punched out. Obviously, you know, there's no excuses, but that's the context behind that. So he comes back and he doesn't allow it to get into his head. And I think that's kind of what's starting to set this Vikings team apart from other teams in the NFL. And I really hope that they can maintain this. Is they don't seem to be getting in their own head like they used to. You know, whether or not the circumstances end up working out for them is one thing. You know, like the missed field goal against Arizona, the so-called fumble week 1 against the Bengals, which, again, anybody looking at that play who's non-biased can tell you it's a total coin flip as to whether that's an actual fumble or not.
Yeah.
So you're literally looking at another 2 wins most likely there, right? Where you're put in position after a hard-fought game, and these players are still in this competitive state of we're going to win this thing, and they believe it and they get in a position to do so. I'm just absolutely blown away. I mean, JJ didn't lose a step after his fumble. He was still making amazing plays. Adam Thielen looked like old Adam Thielen. Like he looked like just a monster.
That touchdown, I don't even know how that ball's caught. Like that was
Right.
so like that was ridiculous. That's just vintage Adam Thielen always does that, but I mean like that was ridiculous to watch on the replay.
I mean, he's the best route runner, probably only behind Devontae Adams in this entire league. Dalvin Cook only playing at what I have to assume is anywhere from 75 to 85%, you know, at any given time.
Yeah.
Still looks like a monster. He's just so special. That touchdown.
He's back, man.
Nobody else makes that play.
Yeah, Dalvin's back, dude. Just the bye week's going to get him straight up to 100%, and I'm telling you, man, he is going to go crazy on Sunday Night Football against Dallas. I'm telling you, he's back. He's trending in the right direction again. This is Dalvin Cook, folks. He's back, people. Trust me.
Totally agree. You know, I have a note in here that I love me a good helping of some CJ Ham.
That was phenomenal. Love CJ Ham.
That 30-yard run completely changed this game. It gave the Vikings all the momentum that they needed, I think, for the rest of this thing to know that they could win it. That run was only designed to get 2 yards, and he ended up busting it.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely amazing play by him. And who doesn't love CJ Ham? I mean, hometown kid, you know.
Right. Who doesn't? It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I love the guy. Offensive line, phenomenal. Absolutely.
71, man. 71 is phenomenal, man.
Christian Darrisaw looks like the stud that we thought he was. He was bullying players on the defensive line, whether it was a run game, a run play or a pass play. His protection was amazing. His downfield blocking was amazing. There was only one missed block that he had, and to be honest, he should get chewed out for it, as well as he played. It was on a screen play to Dalvin Cook at what would have been the top of the screen if you were watching it.
Yeah.
And he just got absolutely demolished. It was 3 offensive linemen out there and 1 corner. And somehow the corner got by all 3 offensive linemen. I'm pretty sure Darrisaw was the last one to try and block him. And the corner he hit Dalvin correctly, just the way he hit his knees, I thought he was done for the season. So that was the one play that I noticed where Christian Darrisaw needed to be a little bit better. Other than that, he did fantastic.
Other than that, I mean, all I'm asking for him is just to be strong in the freaking pass protection, not get put on his ass like freaking Rashad Hill did 5 times in one game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks he's strong, man. Like he's not getting pushed back into Kirk Cousins every time, and that's huge because he is his blindside protector. You need him to be freaking a horse out there, and that's what he's freaking doing. He's gonna make mistakes. I mean, he's a rookie. I'm gonna give him a pass on that one, but I mean, I think he's developing a very good player in this league. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for his future. Like I said, that was just like the one play, the singular play that I noticed. So, and it sucks because it was like, oh my God, that's Dalvin Cook. Like you cannot let him get, get like that. It's literally our season. So, yeah, absolutely love the offensive line. Was really, really proud of all those guys. Don't ever let me see Rashad Hill in at left tackle ever again, unless like everyone's injured. And last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, sir.
Kirk frickin' Cousins. Dude, it is Kirktober, and I am living for it. I mean, this man, I'm telling you, I think I said it last week, but I saw a notification from NFL Network, the app, pop up on my phone today. And I think it's great because I think, to be honest, I'm pretty sure I had this narrative before the national media is going to start taking it. Kirk Cousins is an MVP candidate. Last week was the one that should have put him on the map, in most people's eyes. I don't think it did because it was the Detroit Lions, and too many people are scared to say that even though the Detroit Lions are a winless football team, they're still a football team. That final pass to KJ Osborne was a culmination of every single thing that Minnesota Vikings fans have been asking for literally since Kirk Cousins put pen to paper. You go into an opposing, you go into the heart of an opposing team. You take it to overtime. You fight and you scratch and you claw. You win because you drive down and you score on your first possession. And you do it because of your arm talent. And you make the other player look better potentially than what he is. Now, I like to think KJ's, a superstar caliber player. I really think that he's going to come into his own. But as of right now, KJ is still, a third, fourth receiver on most NFL depth charts. So for him to be the one that gets that ball, that's Kirk Cousins, man. That's him putting that in the right spot and letting trusting his receiver to make the rest of what he needs to do happen. Just amazing.
The thing I love about the play is he has Adam Thielen open for the check down, and he just says,
"Yes."
That's what he does, man. Kirk's just like, frick it, I'm tossing this into the end zone, man. Let's do it. And I mean, it's a perfect throwing ball, man. Just right there where the freaking corner can't get it. Like it's just a dot. I mean, you can't do anything you can't defend that as a defensive back. Like it's a perfectly thrown ball.
And this is what I mean. Like as a fan, you literally cannot ask for anything more from Kirk Cousins at this point. He is statistically a top 3 quarterback right now. He is playing like an MVP quarterback right now because he's putting his team consistently in positions to win. The only way that he could be any better is if he was vaccinated. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
we're not gonna get into it. No, I'm just kidding. I've just been waiting to throw that out. I felt like this was the week to do it. But anyways, truly, man, I am blown away. If anybody's listening to this, I'm telling you right now, you have money to spend. You have money set aside for some entertainment thing. You want to go to Valley Scare or whatever. Screw that, man. Go drive down to Iowa right now, or better yet, fly out to Vegas. Give yourself a nice long weekend and go and bet on the odds for Kirk Cousins to win the MVP. I'm telling you right now, man. If that thing hits, it's the best money you will have ever spent. And right now, the odds have never been better. And I don't necessarily see him slowing down, man. I really don't. I think that this offense can maintain what they have been doing. And any AP voter who has, a solid head on their shoulders should be able to see that. And they will continue to see that because that's the kind of confidence that I have in them.
Yeah, just a couple of things I want to say. Kirk Cousins, that play where he avoids that sack was phenomenal because
Yes.
I was literally screaming at him to take off. I don't know, man. I feel like he could even be better if he's just not afraid to run. Like, just freaking, I'm screaming at the TV.
His legs, yes.
Like, I mean, like, if he just wasn't like scared, like I'm telling you, like that would make him like even better than he is because like it just seemed like he was timid on that play. I mean, it was a phenomenal job by him escaping that sack because usually 2018 or 19, Kirk Cousins, that ball stripped and we're losing the ball. But instead, Kirk dodges that, escapes the pocket, and tries to scramble. But I mean, he could have gotten out of the pocket quicker. But I mean, he did it at least. But I'm just saying, like, I think he could have, like, I think just an improvement for him, just to like not be timid about it. You know what I mean? Because he's got mobility. He's not like the slowest quarterback in the league. You know, he's got pretty decent speed. You know,
so I like what he can do, like mobility wise. I really do. I think that when he escapes the pocket, he has such a threat of an arm that it's that similar thing where until he for sure crosses the line of scrimmage, defenses have to be wary of him still throwing the ball downfield. So he can get a solid 5 yards probably at least just on every play if he can get outside and keep his eyes downfield. But yeah, man, that's kind of my biggest thing. Like leaving this game was how blown away I was yet again by Kirk Cousins and how it's not a fluke anymore. At least this season, like he's consistently doing it. And again, we're going to be previewing Dallas next week, but I don't necessarily see him having to be in a position where he has to win it, next week. Or not next week, but in this
I'm hoping not.
But I can tell you right now, on the off chance that he does, knock on wood, that he doesn't. Once it's nationally televised, it's gonna be over. Like I'm there's gonna be Vikings are gonna turn into a bandwagon team. I seriously think. But anyways, we'll get way more into that. Obviously, riding a big high coming off of this Carolina win and the fashion in which we won. So who knows? Maybe next week injury reports start coming out or whatever. I'll settle down a little bit, start talking with a bit more of a head on my shoulders. I won't be so excited, but just good to have a really solid look at what this season could be now that we're turning the corner and we're 500 again. Just
one final thing, people. If you've seen on Twitter, go get your Kirktober shirts or whatever they're called.
Yes.
Go get them now. While October's still here.
Skull Bros.
At Skull Bros, yeah. Shout out Skull Bros. Go get your Kirktober shirts, people. They're pretty freaking sick. So
they are pretty sick. Man. If I had just money to spend, I might do it. But
same.
Absolutely. Get her done. Frick it up on Halloween night with a Kirktober shirt. With that, I think that's it really for the Vikings discussion because there's no game to preview going in the bye week, which is really nice. Hopefully these guys rest up, get a little more healthy. Like I said, Michael Pierce hopefully will be with us for Sunday Night Football. Pat Pete, because he's on IR, has to miss 3 active games, so this bye week will not count against that. Earliest he'll be eligible to at home against the Green Bay Packers.
Oh man, yeah.
So definitely hoping he can be there for that one. But yeah, your Minnesota Vikings are 3-3 entering the bye week, and boy, does it feel good to be at 500. So if you're just here for Vikings coverage, that is the end of that. You're more than free to click away. Otherwise, we're going to cover a couple of the other games around the league here. Tyler Williams.
Yes, sir.
Take it away, my man.
Couple big NFL games this week. Let's start with Thursday Night Football from this week. We had the defending world champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this game, it started off kind of slow. The Buccaneers were kind of just trouncing them like we expected. Like everyone expected. But then Philly sort of made a comeback in the second half. Jalen Hurts put this team on his back in the second half. He played a lot better, in my opinion. My problem with the Philadelphia Eagles, though, is really just them not running the football and not committing to Miles Sanders necessarily. Miles Sanders is a good running back. I don't get what their play calling situation is, why they keep just not handing the ball off. And give Jalen Hurts, just let him hand the ball off, take pressure off of him. You know what I mean? Don't put him in these throwing situations every time. I mean, this is his first year as a starter, and I feel like it's just costing this team games. It's predictable play calling, in my opinion. Kind of a similar situation with the Vikings, but I think obviously much worse than what we have.
With Philly's situation, for their wide receiver corps, Jalen Reagor, not JJ.
Okay.
How are you not giving the ball to Miles Sanders? I mean, he's arguably the most explosive player behind Jalen Hurts in that offense. I don't know. For some reason, it just seems like he's almost in the doghouse. He hasn't been used at all this season in the fashion that he should be. And he proved Thursday night that he's still one of the best players out there consistently on the field. So
he's a really good player in my opinion. And I just don't feel like Philly's using him in the exact right way that they should be. I think why am I? Oh my God, what's the coach's name? I'm going to move on, but y'all know who I'm talking about. No, the old coach, Doug Peterson.
Oh, Doug
Peterson used him in a dynamic way, and now Sirianno is not using him in that same way, and it's kind of just been on a downhill spiral with the Eagles, in my opinion. This team I don't think is going to go anywhere. I mean, Tampa Bay is still obviously a good football team, but I expected them to blow this Philly team out, man, and they didn't. I'm not saying Tampa Bay screwed or anything because they're still 5-1 and they're still obviously one of the best teams in the NFL, but I don't know. I expected better from the Bucs a little bit,
Any given Sunday, baby.
Yeah. Let their foot off the gas a little bit.
Any given Thursday, but yeah.
Right. All right. Oh God, this next game. Screw it. Let's go to our divisional rival game. Why not? The Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. This game was actually pretty funny. The whole Aaron Rodgers thing where he scores the touchdown and he says, "I own you" to the Chicago fans. You know what? I actually didn't hate it. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought I can't lie. I don't like Green Bay, but I thought it was funny. I really did. It. Yeah. I
love it. I hate that it's Green Bay, but I've been watching Pat McAfee show, so I'm almost starting to like a little Aaron Rodgers here and there. By no means am I liking him a lot, but here and there, I'll take him in small amounts. But let's be honest. We'll bleep out the bad part, but the whole quote really makes it. It's, "I own you. I still own you. I've owned you my whole effing life."
Yep.
That is just so savage.
It is.
I mean, there's no better way to describe it than the quote itself. It's so true too. That's what it's
true.
Bears fans.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on him because it's a true statement. You know what I mean? If it was a false narrative, I could definitely hate on him for this. But it's just like you said, it's badass, dude. It's great. I like the energy. I can't hate on it as much as I hate to say that, but I mean, the Packers. I mean, they're 5-1. It's frustrating because this team should have probably 3 losses right now, but the Bears are. I don't know how they're 3-3. I don't know how they beat the Raiders last week or whatever that was. I don't want to bring your morale a little bit down after they beat the Raiders.
Shut up, dude. I don't need to hear it right now, man.
The Bears are just – there's just games where the Bears look good, decent, and there's just games where they look terrible, and this was one of those games where they just did not look good, in my opinion, especially on offense. It was just really bad. It was,
and I think it came down at one point. It was still a 3-point game.
They just
let them take it away.
They made this Packer defense look good, and this Packer defense isn't good, especially because they're missing Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander right now. This Packer defense isn't good right now. All you Packer fans are probably like, "Oh, shut up! Our defense, we're 5-1. Our defense is good." No, your offense is one of the best in the league, and your defense is average at best right now. Especially you're missing your 2 best players on defense. Your defense isn't that good. Stop it. You beat the Bears. Their offense sucks. I mean, I expected it, man.
Yeah.
The Rodgers thing it's cool. Good for you. You beat the Boars. Congrats. I mean, you own them. We get it.
The Bears. Yeah.
We get it.
Yikes.
All right. The next game, though, Cardinals, the best team in the NFL right now, 6-0. I mean, I have to say it because I think, honestly, I've watched a lot of Cardinals football this year. They're the best team in the league right now. At this very moment, they are. They beat the Cleveland.
It's my guy, Kyler Murray. I'm just saying. It's my guy.
They beat the Cleveland Browns 37-14. I did not expect this game to not be this. I thought this game was going to be a tight game that went down to the wire. The Cardinals just blew them out, man. I mean, this Browns team is banged. Yeah. This Browns team is banged up. They're missing Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt got freaking hurt in this game. I mean, that didn't look good, that injury at all. They're missing, I think, one of their two tackles, I think, were actually out. Jack Conklin and somebody else was out. So, yeah, Baker Mayfield also he did not look very good. I think he's hurt as well, but I think like a hip injury or something.
He's got a shoulder injury he's been dealing with.
It's a shoulder, okay.
It's either completely torn or been dislocated or something.
He got hit really awkwardly.
It's been torn before, I think, and it's been dislocated twice already this season.
Yeah, he got hit really awkwardly when I was watching this game, and it didn't look good. But I don't know, man. The Browns, I think they're in trouble right now. I mean, they beat us. The Browns, when healthy, are a good football team. We know that, but they're hurt right now. And the AFC North is a highly competitive division right now, especially with the Bengals starting to play good football this year. And the Ravens, obviously, at 5-1, playing phenomenal, winning the last 5 games. So, I mean, it's an uphill climb for the Browns right now. This team has to get healthy if they want to get back into the playoff mix, in my opinion. But, yeah, the Cardinals are 6-0. Yeah, that's all I got to really say.
It's pretty crazy when you look at this game, too, from the perspective of a Vikings fan, right? Because you look at the game we played against the Browns, and that turned out a 14-7 game. Right. And, you know, then you look at the game that we played against Arizona.
Yeah.
And that game was one of the most high scoring games that's taken place, you know, this season around the NFL.
Yeah.
So for us to still be the best, you know, looking team that's gone up against these Arizona Cardinals, after what happened to us against the Browns, I was blown away that their defense didn't do at least a little bit more against the Arizona Cardinals. But like I said, it's my guy Kyler Murray. He is that dude.
All right. I don't know if you want 2 more games, but I'm just going to talk about this one real quick if we can.
Whatever you want to do, my guy.
I want to do one more game after this, but just the Cowboys-Patriots game, just a quick rundown. Obviously, the Vikings play the Cowboys after the bye week, but the Dallas Cowboys squeak a game out in overtime here against the New England Patriots. This was a crazy game. It was a really good game. Dak Prescott had a phenomenal game. I mean, this was Dak Prescott showing that he still got it, and this Cowboys team is for real. They mixed in the running game well. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott on the stat sheet, only 69 yards, I mean, off 17 carries, but they mixed in Tony Pollard really well in this game. He got a lot of carries as well. So, I don't know. I don't have much to say about the Patriots. I didn't expect them to win coming into this game, but they did put up a fight. You know, gotta give props to Mac Jones and this team. They've been playing competitive football, the Patriots, but I just think the Cowboys have too much talent for them. And the CeeDee Lamb kind of thing at the end of the game was kind of funny in my opinion, where he just like taunted the guy and did the little wave.
You can't see me, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, just
disrespected him, but you know.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I mean, shocking that there was no taunting penalty there. But, you know, I took 2 things from that game. I took 3 games from that game. But I didn't really get the third one until you said what you said just now about Zeke. And you bring up his stat line. I think he is consistently proved this year what I have thought about him practically since his second year in the league. Don't understand why he's a first-round pick in fantasy leagues. He should be a third-round pick.
Yeah, especially with them mixing in Tony Pollard. That's right. Tony Pollard's getting a lot of carries, but he's looking good, man. Yeah. Tony Pollard's looking good. They're mixing in the run well with their passing game is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, right. I totally get that. I'm blown away that people still think that he, you know, is utilized correctly because he's just not.
Yeah.
But the other 2 things are I can't believe that New England was in this game. I think that bodes really well for the Vikings. Dallas is also on a bye week this week, so we're not going to be able to see anything from them The Vikings aren't going to be able to take anything from another opponent and try and script up something. So both teams have the same amount of time, as far as getting ready for one another. So that's interesting. I do kind of like that. But the fact that New England was in this game until overtime really blows me away, because I think we're a much better football team right now in this moment than New England is. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And the other big thing that I saw from this game, the third and final thing, is that Dak Prescott got hurt either on the last play or the second to last play.
Was it a calf?
It's a calf injury. And it's like legit. Like, he was hobbling off of the field. They think that he's going to be okay to go against the Vikings. They'll be shocked if he isn't. But it seems to be something that's hurt him enough that it'll probably still be nagging him going into Sunday Night Football in 2 weeks. So if he's, maybe not as mobile as he normally is, obviously you never wish for a player to get hurt. By no means am I saying that. I don't want Dak Prescott knocked out of this game. But I think you can definitely take advantage of a player who can't move around nearly as well, especially when that player is the quarterback and their offense runs through him every single play.
Right. Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all. All right, last final game of week 6 of the NFL season. We got the Bills versus Titans. This was a phenomenal game last night. I watched the majority of this game, and this was probably my favorite game of the week. Josh Allen is phenomenal, dude. I mean, it's the arm talent, the arm strength. I mean, the way he moves in the pocket. This guy is literally it's just mind-boggling. Every single time I watch him play, it's just he's gotten better too, compared to when he first got into the league, and it's just insane how good he is. The Bills are a threat. I know they lost this game, but the Titans have a really good offense, man. I'm not going to say the Titans' defense is any good, but their offense is phenomenal. So, I mean, they got lucky that the Bills' defense didn't have as good of a game as they've been playing, especially against Kansas City. And, the Bills, I think, are still, honestly, I think they're still the top dog on the AFC. Them and Baltimore are the two teams I think you got to watch out for in the AFC from that specifically.
That being said, though, the Titans, this was the game that put them on the radar, at least for me, because obviously that loss against the Jets really sunk their stock in my mind. But for them to come out here and just dominate, I mean, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
That's all you have to say. Is just the name Derrick Henry. It explains
7 yards of freaking carry. Jesus. 140. Yeah. 3. Yeah.
He's the king. He is the king. He will forever be the king so long as he's running the football. I mean, this dude, I wouldn't be shocked if not only does he has a Frank Gore-esque, legacy and longevity, but if he's even more productive.
More productive. Yeah.
This man's going to be 44 and still running over safeties, on his way to 75-yard sprinting touchdowns. It's just going to be, he's just a monster. And I'm so glad that we get to watch this man play football.
Oh, yeah. It's just my only concern with the Titans is I think their defense bites them in the butt later in the season, just because I think teams, obviously Derrick Henry's phenomenal, but teams are going to load the box. I mean, obviously Buffalo was loading the box, but there's going to be a game where Derrick Henry gets stopped, and Titans aren't going to be able to adjust. God, I can't talk.
No, they're good.
But yeah, they won't be able to adjust because I'm gonna be honest. I still don't trust Ryan Tannehill that much. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's something special. So yeah, we'll see. They are 4-2, but I think they can definitely win the AFC South.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I think that brings us to the end of this week's episode. So thank you everybody so much for listening. As always, we appreciate your support. If you can, feel free to support the podcast in any way, shape, or form possible. All of our previous episodes are archived on our website, www.vikeswiththemic. We will be back next week. To what extent, we are not quite sure yet. On what date, we are not quite sure yet. And with what content, we are not quite sure yet. But I can promise you that there will be a bye-week edition of Vikes with the Mic. We'll be going over, for sure, the Dallas game, as well as any news, most likely injury reports that come out both this week and next week for your Minnesota Vikings. So very excited about all of that. I think, again, you're going to have to tune in next week to find out. Right. But I think that it's boding well, at least in my mind, this matchup against Dallas on Sunday Night Football, which does not feel real to say. A nationally televised game. Very shocking to have some confidence going into it.
Dude, this game is just massive. Yeah, this is the biggest game of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, all that good stuff. As always, thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Skull.